All right. I will have to say I got a little bit of my thunder stolen earlier with the bathroom humor, but I think we'll be fine. Um, so my story has to do with a few things. Let me just set the stage a little bit. There's some international adventure, romance, drinking, and explosive diarrhea. So I was a sophomore in high school down in good old Iowa, if you remember that. Yep. And I was in youth group at church, just like a lot of kids from around town, and we had a trip coming up to Quito, Ecuador, to go help out with a missions trip out there. And I signed up, and yeah, I was looking forward to it. We went down, we got introduced to the missionaries, and that's when I discovered my personal mission for that trip. The missionary's daughter, who was pretty attractive. I can't remember her name, but trust me. Yeah, it was a good trip. So we went down there. They gave us all the rules. We had a couple days to get acclimated to the altitude, and they told us not to drink the water, which I did. That's the drinking part, and the romance part, of course, is the missionary's daughter. So we were going along pretty steady. A week down there, I thought we were kind of all settled in, and we actually had a really cool opportunity to meet with all the missionaries in my denomination that were down there for a prayer conference, which was great. Yeah, so we went to that, and sometime in the course of the day before, the morning of, I brushed my teeth with the water, or I drank I don't know what happened with the water, but it was inside of me, and it was ready to come out. I didn't know that at the time. So we show up at this building for the prayer conference with all the missionaries, and let me just describe the room. It's maybe twice as wide as this, but about the same depth. So a pretty good-sized room. And there's just a big circle of chairs in this big open room. And it had concrete, smooth, white walls with no curtains. Had some windows. It had a hardwood floor, nothing on the ceiling. There were no alcoves. It was just doors that were kind of off to the side adjacent. It was an acoustic nightmare. So, yeah, which worked really well during the prayer portion of the day, because we all sat around in a circle, and how we were doing it was one person was praying out loud while the rest of us were silently praying or thinking about what's her name or doing whatever. And that's how I learned my lesson. So I had a great spot. We're sitting in this circle, like, what's her name is over there next to my buddy. We make eyes. That was the last time we ever made eyes. But we're sitting, we're sitting. One person's praying. It's very quiet, and that's when it hits. And similar, when it hits, it's ready. It's Montezuma's revenge. And the pressure was building fast. It was building, right now, and I'm scooching to get things closer, so there's some pressure to equalize. And there's people I'm impressing here, and pretty soon I realized this isn't going to work much longer. I need a bathroom, and one of the few doors along this in this room was the restroom, just an adjacent door. So I get up, everyone's looking down, someone's praying real good, and I make my way over to the door, and the first thing I notice when I open the door is how light it is. It's like, I don't know where they got this door, but it was light. And then I closed it, locked it, go in, you kind of get ready, and then I realized there's also like a half-inch crack under the door, and it's hardwood floors, it's bad. So I'm like, I need a strategy here. So I'm going to just ease off the brakes a little bit. And I was trying to figure out how to describe this. And the only way I can describe it is with another little bitty side story. Is my grandma has a sink that it's kind of a rusty knob, and there's so much pressure behind it. And they might be in like rest stops too. So you try to turn it, and all of a sudden it's like, and it's splashing, and then you try to turn it off, and it just all the way off. So it's either violently spraying, or there's nothing. So it's kind of like that. So I went for, oh man, I don't know how long, but it was just a lot of that on-off game we were playing, and And then everything I think was done. It was we were good. So, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, how bad is this out there? And, and they were praying out there, but I was praying harder in the bathroom, but not as effectively. So I get done. I go out, wash my hands, and really loud so they can hear that. And I go out back to my chair in the circle, and it surprised me. I come out, and I was with my high school buddies, just expecting everyone to be like, "Are you okay?" And for what's her name to come over and, "Are you? I'm so sorry." But nobody looked up. Like it was like I was invisible. Which was perfect. And, every footstep I could hear on the way back, it was so quiet. And I sat down, and I'm kind of like, looking around, but just nothing. So the prayer thing gets done, and I, leaned over to my buddy, and I said, "Jacob, did you, hear anything while I was in there?" And his words were literally, "Dude, we heard every last drop."